Well, folks, we're back in the continuation of our decomposition of Prometheus.
Which is turning out to be just about as long as the movie itself.
Yes, well, it needs to be.
So, where we left off, someone's getting throat fucked by a reptilian thing, and the other guy's got his face melted off.
Yeah. So, the crew decides to look for them after the storm passes. They look around. At this time, the robot Dave finds one of the aliens alive.
Mm-hmm. He goes off on his own to explore and figure out what the hell is going on with the
secretly
the life form
with the main boss. What you think was the main boss lady?
Of the expedition.
Yeah.
Charlize Theron's character.
But yeah, so the robot finds one of the engineers still alive, while the other group finds the biologist with his face fucked.
Mm-hmm. And out of not out of the mouth of babes, but out of the mouth of this corpse, the thing flies out and squirms away into the distance.
I will admit, I jumped a bit.
I figured it was going to happen. I just thought it was going to come out of his chest.
I would have thought it came out of his ass.
Yeah.
What? It went through the entire body.
Anyways.
So while all this is going on, the scientist that David poisoned, let's say?
Yeah.
Experimented on.
Yeah. Is getting worse and worse. Eyes are going bloodshot, black marks around his skin.
Tentacles growing out of his eyes.
None of this he mentions to anybody, obviously.
Yep.
Yes. Fucking scientist right there.
It's zombie chain of events all over again.
So they return back to the ship.
Yeah, they return back to the ship. He's getting worse and worse.
And Big Boss Lady is there with a flamethrower beating them.
And in the end, the guy tells her, do it, and she roasts him. And yeah.
Kill it with fire! And she quite did.
And it worked. He's dead.
He's dead, Jim.
Or is he?
No. It was the geologist that comes in later.
Okay.
Yeah, so
they're back, and every one of them go through a quarantine check, and that's when we find out that Miss Can't Be Pregnant is pregnant.
And we also find out that David the robot is even more evil.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is what we were talking about earlier in the previous part, where David mentions that we have nobody on board that could do this procedure.
Because what does she want to do? She wants to get this thing that's growing in her cut out of her.
She wants it to be aborted,
essentially. So, yeah, but they have a doctor on board. So apparently, a doctor is not qualified to do what a doctor does.
Apparently, this lady with a thing in her doesn't remember that a doctor is qualified to do it. Because I'm sure that the robot knows, but he just wants to see the thing born.
But,
again, in his mind.
So the robot knocks her out.
Rather than up.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And once she wakes up, she overpowers the doctor who's putting her to sleep.
Which I assume she gets knocked
The doctor?
Which I assume the doctor dies after that shot. Because she's never seen again.
It's a blow to the head with something rectangular and apparently heavy that we don't know where she got it from or how it was such close reach.
Yeah.
But she conks the two other people that are there and runs out to the
operating thing.
Yeah, the little chamber in Miss Icy.
Yeah, in the woman's room, which is apparently set to work only for men.
Yeah. Anyway, she figures out a way to bypass that.
Yeah, she bypasses it by just saying foreign body removal operation.
Yeah.
I think. And they take it out of her, and it looks like this kind of squid thing.
Yeah. At that point...
Kind of reminds me of the Men in Black scene.
Yeah. All the while, she's injecting herself with painkillers.
Yeah.
She gets cut open. She literally rips out the umbilical of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that is done to seal her up is some staples.
Yep. And then, didn't they have some cauterizing going while they were stapling too?
No. Just staples.
Oh, that's gotta suck. So yeah, that's one thing that strikes me. It totally was. There was no point having it be male only. She was just gonna bypass that anyway. Why does it matter then?
Yeah. I mean, was that supposed to be a little foreshadowing for what we're about to tell you anyways? That's not enough, though. Again, not a reason for it to be male only.
Yeah, there's no reason to have this gigantic, expensive medical chamber and have it only work on men when you have women on board, too.
Yeah.
And what I don't... Well, you'll see why I have difficulties understanding this when it keeps going on. And it involves her being injured.
Yeah. The fact of the matter is that she's essentially probably bleeding on the inside. Mm-hmm. Just had her stomach stapled. I'm sure the medical staples, but still.
Yeah. Because, you see, even if you get a cesarean section, when you give birth, there's a hell of a lot of blood loss. Enough that some women die in childbirth because of that.
Yeah. So she's probably bleeding internally as well.
Yeah, let's not forget to mention here that what the machine pulls out of her is a sack of this little worm thing.
One could assume that could have essentially been her uterus even.
Congratulations,
Possibly.
It's a squid.
Yeah. The thing pulls it out, the squid, and it's sitting there wriggling like crazy while she's getting stapled up and frantically trying to get out of there. And then she gets it closed up.
And leaves.
She tells it to exterminate the life, because obviously this is going to do the job.
Well, basically sterilize it.
Yeah.
Which is basically kill.
Yeah. But if it's this thing that's an alien life form, you might want to, dismember it just to make sure.
Stomp on it a couple of times. It's the horror movie cliche, honestly. Mm-hmm. The main character thinks that they've done something to the villain, but after they just knock him out with the head or just shoot him once. When honestly, if you do that, you continue attacking them constantly.
Double tap, everybody! Double tap. It's one thing that
not
they
even
made
double
clear
tap
from Welcome to Zombieland.
Yeah. Not even double tap. Just continue tapping until you can't tap no more. Then you can be sure. Okay, it's dead.
Keep tapping that until you know it's dead.
So she starts riling around the room.
And, walking around the ship aimlessly. Probably drugged out of her gourd, considering that she injected herself at least 5 to 6 times. Mm-hmm. Not including the injection that the robot did on her.
Now, while this is happening, outside, they see a body, which they assume is the geologist.
Yeah, because the geologist's camera is activated. Which is stupid considering that the helmet was melted, so one would assume the camera would have been melted.
So, the captain orders someone to check it out. They check it out.
And the thing certainly attacks them.
Yeah, it's bent over and double with the legs over the shoulders, and yet the guy still stands up to full height. He's got a huge forehead, and is all bumpy and veiny and stuff.
More than full height. Looks like he grew a good foot in height.
Yeah.
Black ooze.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Best roids you can have.
And anyways, he causes havoc, kills at least another 5 people on the
Roid Rage
expedition. All faceless people, of course, because that's another thing that I don't like about this movie. Unlike the previous Alien movies where you couldn't remember most of the characters and they're all named. Nope, you couldn't name anyone that got killed here.
17 people and you learn maybe 6 or 7.
Not even. I can't even remember the captain's name.
I don't remember the captain. I know the captain's face. I know the 2 guys, the Asian guy and the Scottish guy joking around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think they even said the captain's name. I think he just referred to him as the captain the whole time.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's just captain.
He flies the ship.
Pretty bad, I might say.
Yeah.
So, going on. Fuck this movie. So, at this point, the woman finds out that the old guy, again, Guy Pearson, awful old guy makeup, is on the ship, and he's there to see if the aliens can save his life.
Mm-hmm.
That makes
very little sense.
Yeah.
For him to have done that.
Yeah, because we don't know what he's dying of except old age. That's all we get. He's old and decrepit. And somehow he thinks that talking to them will reveal some secret to life.
Fucked up looking feet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, would it have been smarter for the rich old guy to, instead of going on this year-long journey that may not have even worked out in the first place, to have somebody just frozen himself back on Earth, and if it had worked out, then had himself transported or something while still frozen?
I don't know. I guess cryogenically being frozen was not on his mind at the time.
Well, he was frozen.
Yeah, but again, not on his mind at the time.
So, anyways, they reveal to the scientist lady that David found one of them alive, and they're gonna go see it, and they're gonna go try and talk to it. All the while, we find out the Charlize Theron character is the old guy's daughter. Honestly, not really a plot point, not explored, not even looked at, just mentioned out of the blue.
But I kind of saw it a mile away.
Yeah. But again, just mentioned out of the blue, like, blah, 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 whatever you say, father.
Like, as soon as...
A character we don't care about is related to another character we don't care about!
Oh, snap!
Now.
Yeah, exactly, Kat. Exactly.
Now, as they go into it, go into the tomb thing, well, the spaceship.
Yeah, they
because we already figured out it's a spaceship.
Yeah, we realize it's a spaceship. One that has the fucking dumbest layout ever. I do not know a single spaceship or large craft that has its cargo bay
near its bridge.
Right next to its bridge. Even bombers in World War II had some space between the cockpit and the bombing area. So, stupid ass layout.
So anyways...
And the bridge is filled with those cylinders, obviously, to be used as weapons.
When they get there, before they even awaken whatever in there, in the pod, the robot David kind of subtly tries to explain what the ship was for to the scientist lady.
Yeah, and it was essentially going to be a weapon. We kind of figured that out.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Captain Obvious.
Yeah. They wake the thing up. David tries to talk to it in its own language. I don't think it likes what it hears. It rips David's head off. Kills the old guy.
Well, smacks the old guy.
Kills the other people that are with them. Again, whose names we don't even know. And the scientist woman runs away. And while all this is happening, the alien decides to start the ship up and head towards Earth. So the scientist lady contacts the captain, tells him what's going on, and without even really considering any other options, to decide, you know what, let's ram it. Like, not even thinking, is there anything else we could possibly do?
And this is where boss lady starts complaining.
So this is where Charlize Theron, she complains, she bitches, and the captain says, well, if you don't like it, get off the ship. Mark? Sorry, I think I interrupted you.
Yeah, she gets off the ship into a life pod.
Yeah, not into her separate suite that could
which they explain that can get...
It was a lifeboat, essentially. No, she goes into her simple escape pod.
Which tosses her outside.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, we see her lifeboat also get tossed out.
Yeah.
Now, this is the only part of the movie I like, because it was basically the bad guy and the other two pilots ramming into it, and they're just like...
banter till the end.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. Prometheus, the ship that the movie's named after, crashes into the alien ship, takes it down, and the crashing ship kills Charlize Theron's character, which makes the whole point of her leaving the ship pointless.
And that's where I thought...
Why have that happen if she's just going to get squished anyways?
And at that point, as soon as as the scientist who was right beside the ship collapses, and it says, attention, you have two more minutes
of air left.
That's when I thought, okay, it's over. She's just going to die.
She's going to suffocate, moving over.
She's going to have this big epiphany about we shouldn't have come here, and this is way bigger than us than knowing what created us. And all this other shit, deep spiritual. Nope.
But hell no. No.
She sees the lifeboat in the distance
and manages to somehow run with her stomach all stapled up and her being weak and on drugs and
shit. No.
This is the
and she gets to it apparently with 30 seconds to spare.
Like I would compare this like
they show from when she enters the lifeboat, you can see how far it is from the wreckage of the ship.
She's not that fast on foot.
No, she can't. That looks for a healthy person a good 10-minute walk. For her, it would have been 15 minutes or more.
Yeah, because first, she's injured. Second,
she's underneath the ship.
Yes.
So she has to crawl out.
Third, it's a rocky, hard terrain to get by. Not to mention obstacles.
No way could she get there in a minute and a half.
Which, by the way, the suit says you have 30 seconds left.
Yeah, which is why...
What?
Yeah. A minute and a half she gets there. Huh? How?
Anyway.
Yes. No.
No.
Not even when related to the Flash. No. Not when she got her stomach fucking stapled. But, anyways, we're almost done here, so let's wrap this up.
So, we continue on.
Yes, she gets back to the lifeboat. One would assume she fixes her suit. Or something, or
maybe being in there helps to refuel it with oxygen. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I think they've thrown out any kind of idea of logic at this point.
And in her mind, she's like, okay, I'll probably go back to the recovery pod.
And yeah, so in the life raft, she finds the thing that came out of her has grown to an enormous size.
Turns out that the help machine didn't kill it.
Yeah.
What do you know?
Yet again, another piece of technology that doesn't seem to work right in this universe.
And this is where, as she tries to leave the pod, this is where David comes in
and tells her that the guy's coming for her.
He's a disembodied head.
How does he even know that?
He sees the thing leave, so clearly the thing must be going for her. What was it talking to itself when it left the ship?
Apparently David has prophetic abilities as well.
Yeah. Like, again, how does David know that the guy happened to leave the ship? Could have gone to see what the damage was, maybe if it could be repaired. Mm-hmm. How the hell does it even know that there's another person alive still?
Yeah, really. And so yeah, the thing comes in, it busts into the place, and it's about to fuck her shit up.
Or just fuck her.
Yeah. And then she's strategically placed, so as soon as it comes up, she hits the door latch, and the big squid instead comes and grabs Mr. Engineer dude.
And while they're fighting, is when we find out that it's honestly just a huge face hugger.
Yeah.
And it sticks a tentacle down the thing's throat, and we can assume, obviously, it implants something.
Mm-hmm. So she runs away.
And David tells her that there's other ships.
We can leave.
Yeah. And so she says, no, let's go visit the planet of the people that want to kill us.
Thus, she takes one of the ships,
yeah,
as said, and moves off. But, while they're getting off of the current ship, this is where it gets retarded.
I don't like that. It gets
stupid.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. But yeah, the fact that, again, she's injured taking a pulley, even though it's a pulley, she's still injured for the fact.
Yeah.
And trying to get David's other, body
better
down.
half.
Better half. His better half down.
Yeah, she goes to this ship that's all upturned and stuff. She collects David and lowers his decapitated body. Holy shit, I'm not good with words tonight. Lowers his headless body to the ground with a pulley.
Yeah.
And then stuffs his head in a bag. And like she's gonna go to the gym or something.
Pretty much.
She's going bowling.
And then they find another ship, obviously, and they fly off.
Mm-hmm.
Scene back to the big alien that killed everybody. Suddenly something pops out of it.
Oh god.
A fully grown something, pretty much.
Now, when
at first you think, oh, are they finally going to show us an actual alien in this movie? Nope. The thing has a similar head to it, but its body is far too humanoid.
It looks more like a shark man.
Yeah. Has no tail. Hands are far too humanoid itself.
It's all smooth.
Yeah. Like you said, it looks too human. And when it opens its mouth, it doesn't have an inner mouth. It has just
a second jaw inside.
Second jaw, that's all. And that's how the movie ends. Disappointment.
Now, see, as soon as we hit the life raft, I said, I can't watch anymore. And Matt had to convince me.
Well, we were doing this review. You gotta finish it. I know it was bad.
You have to watch through the pain.
Honestly, this is definitely in my top 10 worst movies I've ever seen. Probably gonna be the worst movie I've seen this year.
Now, I'm not as mad as he is and as passionate, but I hated it just as much as the same.
I didn't like it, but being that I don't have any background with any of the Alien movies,
but again,
it's a franchise I've never touched.
Again, you don't need the background to understand that this movie is bad, though.
Oh yeah,
and it's a prequel, so you don't need to know about the other movies.
Well, it certainly helps to give you a frame to work with.
Yes, but again, if you're looking at it as a standalone, it's still a god-awful movie.
Yeah. Plot-wise, there are too many problems. In terms of logical fallacies, you can't start to count it. Oh
yeah.
My god.
The characters are dumb as a boot.
Mm-hmm. They're pretty stupid, and none of them are really all that likable.
Or memorable.
Yeah, or memorable.
Half the people on the expedition, we don't even learn their names.
Everybody but one person dies. And the robot, despite being completely decapitated, his head ripped out of the body, still functions entirely the same. He can talk and he can send everything, and his body still works, despite the fact the two are separated.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And
okay.
I'm guessing we're supposed to assume that Miss Scientist, who is, I guess, an ancient people's specialist or something, is somehow able to reattach his head to his body? Because that's the only way he's going to be able to pilot the ship.
I'm sure he'll be able to direct her of what she should be doing.
I doubt it. That woman couldn't take the direction from a freaking GPS, from the freaking iPads that they use all over the place.
Fine.
But yeah, this movie, fuck it. Ridley Scott, I've seen you do better. I know you can do better. Do we need to give you back to James Cameron to make it work? Because we can. It can be arranged, I'm sure. You two know each other. Go back together, please. Make a good movie.
Yeah. Says something for James Cameron.
At least James
James Cameron, never mind. I was thinking Michael Bay.
Yeah, no. James Cameron, $1 billion movie man, not Michael Bay. Fuck Michael Bay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know what else we can say other than we got through it.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I
I
feel like walking out, really.
I've heard people that enjoy this movie. I can't say I ever want to meet those people. I might be tempted to lobotomize them with a rusty ice pick.
There's just far too much belief they expect you to suspend for this movie.
Belief.
Yeah, too much that they ask you to just take on their word on. Too much that they throw in that absolutely goes nowhere. The movie is just all over the place. Scenes very rarely connect smoothly.
Honestly, I didn't understand most of the movie.
And looking at who wrote this thing, I can tell you one. It's written by one of the main writers of Lost. That's how we felt throughout most of the movie. Lost.
Yep.
Lost, disappointed, mad, and just really not entertained whatsoever.
Yeah, this movie tries to make you think that it's good and entertaining. It provides you no proof or evidence to support this. You're just supposed to choose to believe that it's a good movie.
I mean, I love the Alien movies, but I wasn't as hyped as other people were for Prometheus. But a lot of people were hyped for this movie, and I can just imagine how disappointed they must feel after seeing this.
Hopefully
Maybe
the bars were still open.
One would wish. Yeah, it's not a good movie. It's not very well put together, not well acted. The only decent performance out of this movie is from David, because the guy who plays him is able to do a subtle performance.
What's the deal with robots named David? Remember the kid from AI?
Yeah. I don't know.
Hi, Dave.
Honestly, all I know is that if you watch the Alien movies chronologically, the ones that have robots in them, the names follow A, B, C, D. In Alien 1, the robot's name is Ash. Alien 2 and 3, the robot is Bishop. Alien 4, the robot is it's a girl's name with C, I think Carrie. And in this one, it's David.
Okay.
So in the next one, there's a new robot, and it's going to be some kind of E name.
I wouldn't do that, Dave.
But, anyways, yeah, so like we've said in this hour and a half of talking about this piece of shit, it's not a good movie. We didn't pay full price to see it, so we got that at least.
Oh, one more thing I'd like to say. There was no reason for this to be in 3D.
No, not at all.
Yeah, we kind of saw it in 3D, and
yeah.
Honestly, I was more entertained with the previews in the 3D rather than the actual movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this movie was supposedly shot in 3D, but I've seen better 3D movies that just simply tack it on than things that are shot in it.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I'm hesitant to see 3D movies because they give me a headache. I don't like it, and I have to keep my I can't fidget, which I very much do, but I have to keep myself...
you were tapping your leg through the whole thing.
Yeah, because my legs being all shitty lately. I don't know what the deal is with that. But the point is, I have to keep entirely still to watch this thing. It's like I'm being held down to watch it if I don't want to get a headache.
Yeah, but yeah, the 3D wasn't good. The amount of times I was seeing double images was ridiculous.
Yeah, especially after images, particularly during the credits, I found.
Yeah, not throughout the whole movie you could see it.
Yeah,
and I mean, I'm not sure if maybe if it was just the screen we were watching it on. It might have been that. I mean, the Beaches Theater isn't the best.
Honestly, during the last part of it, I just took off the 3D glasses and there was no difference.
Yeah, blurry as hell. The movie didn't know what it wanted you to focus on. It wasn't good. The movie wasn't fun like the other Alien movies. And what I wish they simply do is just release the Alien movies in theaters again for a limited time. People will go see them. People will enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I think they may make a reboot? Just reboot it.
If they do that, and it's got the same people as this movie working on it, and it gets the same feel as this movie, it's going to bomb.
It's going to hurt.
I kind of have a feeling.
Yeah, honestly, they're obviously going to make another one, and I hope to God it's better. But if it's not, I'm going to be the first in line to volunteer to have a freaking chest buster implanted in me. Because at least the thing that comes out of me is going to be able to kill somebody.
So, Indiana Jones got raped.
Star Wars got raped and is still being raped.
Looks like we get to see a raped alien.
Which is funny, 'cause that's what they seem to do.
Why is it every good sci-fi thing from the 70s and 80s, when they try and do something new with it, it's just god-awful?
Well, it's not universal. The new Star Trek movie wasn't bad.
Yeah, but that's just because it had J.J. Abrams.
Even so, it's still nowhere near the corruption level of these other things.
Yeah, but the Star Trek movies, though, were still... Some of the older ones were still bad, though, so
Yeah,
it was dealing with the pattern. But the movies that we just mentioned, the Aliens, Indiana Jones, and the original Star Trek, all those movies were good, and the newest ones are bad. While with Star Trek, Star Wars, and while with the Star Trek,
second mouth can do.
Yeah, and with Star Trek, it's simply with Star Trek, it's just simply it follows the pattern of every other movie is good, while
yeah.
So you can't really make that comparison, especially since there's 9 Star Trek movies in comparison to a lot less about the other ones.
Yeah.
Which were more mainstream than Star Trek anyways.
True. But the Star Trek, the newer one, is kind of a prequel.
It's more of an origin story, really.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's
the origins of it, but... Yeah. It's a good movie, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about an awful movie that I cannot see it appealing to anyone, and I've seen people give okay to decent reviews of it. But I don't know what merit you're marking it on. Really sit down and think about what you've watched, people that are giving good reviews. Think about what happened on that screen, what people said, what people did. And compare it to other movies of the genre, the previous Alien movies, other thriller kind of movies. See what other movies did right that this one did not.
Think about the lack of a giant robotic suit.
No.
Or a creepy robot that looks into your dreams.
Oh no, it had that.
Yeah.
That's
or
what
just
it did have.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to see a good thriller where people get killed off and is entertaining, go watch Cabin in the Woods.
We highly endorse this movie.
Yes, if only for the stoner.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely one good part, but I totally back the movie entirely.
Yes. But anyways, shall we just wrap this up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Harvey, I believe you had the closing statements chosen for this movie.
Yeah. I suppose I can't offer any concrete evidence that it's a bad movie, given that I don't have a lot of experience. But I just choose to believe.